DaVinci Resolve Fusion. More like confusion, am I right? Yeah, the jokes are on point today. But anyway, look, DaVinci Resolve Fusion, let's be honest, it's not easy. It's great, it's powerful, but it's not easy. There's a steep learning curve. And so in this video, I want to share with you some quick fixes for some annoying problems, some tips and tricks to make Fusion as a beginner a bit more enjoyable and less daunting, and just some things that I wish I knew earlier, some things that could have saved me a lot of frustration and confusion. Yeah, okay, here we go. Look, in the color page, it's super easy to disable a node, right? By clicking here on the node number or by using shortcut Command+D. And it's super handy for when you want a quick before and after. Now, in the Fusion page, you can't disable a node by clicking on it. Well, I haven't found it yet. And also the shortcut Command+D doesn't work. But that's just because in the Fusion page, the default shortcut to disable a node is Command+P instead. They probably did that to create some confusion. Okay, no, I'm gonna stop with that joke now. Some people avoid the Fusion page altogether. For example, by applying all their effects in the color page instead. Now, for a lot of things, that's fine. But if you want to apply an effect to a PNG image, for example, so without a background, let's try a blur effect. See? That doesn't look right. Now, maybe there's a way to fix this in the color page. Haven't found it yet, so let me know in the comments if there is. But it's also super easy to add an effect in the Fusion page, guys, and then you won't have those problems. Look, I have my image here connected to a merge node. That's how you add an image. And now with the image selected, hit Shift plus spacebar, look for the blur effect, add it, and now the blur effect looks like it should look. Looks great. And this is the case for almost all effects applied to PNGs or video clips without background, things like that. If it doesn't look right in the color page, try it in the Fusion page. And let's stay with the PNG images for a bit. So if you apply an effect to an image without a background and you get this here, like this weird straight line, the more I increase the blur, see, you get that straight line there. Well, that's because there's not enough space around the image, in this case the logo, in the actual PNG file. So you'll have to fix that in Photoshop or Affinity. Just create more space around the logo or whatever it is that you're working with. This is another weird and annoying problem that I struggled with when I first started using Fusion. Again, it happens when using PNG images, but also when using normal JPEG images or when you create a rectangle or a circle in Fusion. But anyway, so what happens is when you add a color corrector node to something because you want to do some color corrections, I'm gonna use the logo again. Well, if you increase the gain here, for example, it looks fine, right? It gets applied to the logo and just the logo. But if you increase the lift or the brightness or you combine settings, then it affects the whole image, the whole frame, and not just the logo. But there's an easy fix. Just go to options here and check pre-divide/post multiply. There. And now all the settings in the color corrections node will only affect the logo. This one I've shown you a bunch of times already in a lot of my tutorials, but still a lot of people miss it. So if you use the tracker in the Fusion page, which is actually super easy to use, just hit Shift plus spacebar and then look for the tracker, connect it like this between the media in and out node, and then put the tracker on the object you want to track, hit track, and Resolve will track that object. But then when you add an image or text or whatever, and you connect it to the tracker, because you want that text or that image to follow the movement of the tracked object, well, nothing happens. And that's because first you have to set the operation mode here to match move. And then the text will appear and it will follow the movement of whatever you tracked. The splines window is one of the most useful tools in the Fusion page, especially for beginners. So you can use it to smoothen keyframes, right? For example, I have keyframed my logo here so that it gets bigger. But then the start and the finish of that little animation is a bit robotic. But here in the splines window, you can very easily smoothen it. And you can even manually tweak and fine-tune everything. But what you can also do is create simple animations in the spline window. For example, let's say I want to let this logo pulsate. So I want it to grow bigger and smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. Well, when I first started using Fusion, I would just keyframe all that manually. But there's a faster way and an easier way. All you have to do is keyframe it so that it zooms in, so that the logo gets bigger, just one time. So keyframe here, keyframe here. Now the logo gets bigger, and then select the anchor points in the splines window. So this is where the logo is small, and then here is where it's at its biggest. Select both, smoothen it if you want, and then use one of these settings here. For example, ping pong, and it will automatically create a, pulse animation. See? So the splines window in the Fusion page, learn it, master it, super powerful. When you're creating an overlay effect, for which you need to change the blend mode, or the apply mode, or the composite mode, which are all different names for the same thing. So for example, in the edit page, I have this overlay, and if I select that image or video, and then I go to the inspector here, and I change the composite mode to screen, then it will remove the black background, and you get a cool effect. Smoke, rain, there's tons of different use cases. Easy also. But in the Fusion page, when I use the same clip or image and I add it with a merge node, and then I select that image, I can't change the composite mode anywhere, or the screen mode, or the apply mode. And that's because in the Fusion page, you have to change the composite or apply mode, as it's called in the Fusion page, of the merge node. So select the merge node instead, and then here you can set it to screen, or whatever you want. Same goes for when you're using a tracker. Select the tracker and then change the apply mode of the tracker node. So let's say you've created an effect in Fusion, a custom effect, and that effect consists of a few nodes, or maybe a lot of nodes. Well, you can turn that effect into a macro. Just select the nodes, right click, and then hit create macro. Give it a name, save it. And now when you hit Shift plus spacebar, you can look for that effect, and boom, you can now use it in all your projects, all your videos. Pipe Router is a simple tool to keep your node structures organized, even when they're not complicated at all. Because if you've ever created something in the Fusion page, well, you'll know that it doesn't take long for all these connections to go diagonally and through other nodes, behind nodes, and it becomes a bit of a mess pretty fast. But if you hold the Alt key and then click on a connection, it will create a pipe router, see? And this allows you to just organize all the connections. Make them go around nodes however you want. Simple. And another way to organize your node structure is by using groups or underlays. They're a little bit different. So first, groups. Just select a bunch of nodes, right click and group, or use a shortcut. But the problem with this technique is that you lose the visual overview of all those nodes. You have to ungroup them again. Open the group. So what you can also do, instead of grouping them, is use an underlay. Same thing, first select all your nodes, then hit Shift plus spacebar and look for the underlay, add it, and boom. The nodes are now also grouped, and you can move them all at once, but they're not collapsed into one node, so you can still see everything. Just a different way to organize your nodes. And this is a very important one that you probably know already because, again, I've mentioned it in a bunch of my tutorials. But just in case you don't, here it is again. If you want to track something and then add animated text or some kind of animation or whatever to the tracker, well, the animation won't play unless in the edit page you first convert the video clip that you're working with to a Fusion clip by right-clicking on it. And then go to the Fusion page, do your tracking, and then you can use animated text, animations, callouts, whatever, with the tracker. And that's it, just some things that hopefully will make playing around in Fusion as a beginner a bit more enjoyable. Maybe I solved a few of your problems in Fusion. Not gonna solve all the other problems you have. I mean, I wanna give it a try, but yeah. Anyway, I hope it helped. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.